I think you've spoken about that filmmakers, especially early on in their journey, critics and the audience can destroy them, meaning like it creates too much of a burden, too much, uh, just wear them down to where they're almost scared to be creative. Can you just speak to that? How to ignore the critic?
I'll tell you something that my best advice I ever got early on. I was so fortunate from an unlikely place. Because he sounded like Clint Eastwood when he said it. It's funny when you said that. I thought that. But I did Desperado and it had Antonio Banderas. I brought Antonio to be in it from Europe. Big action movie. And so Spielberg saw it and he said, hey, I want you to do Zorro with Antonio. So we're working on it for a while. I was working on the pre-production. Got to work with Spielberg doing that. It ended up stalling because there was like 2 studios involved and Amblin was moving, or it was some weird thing but I got to work with him for about 5 months, and I started getting really nervous because it's like, oh shit, you start thinking about even movies of his that people would say, oh, Temple of Doom's not as good as Raiders. Have you seen Temple of Doom? I'd kill to fucking do that movie.
Yeah.
If I could make Zorro as good as that one, the one that people said, it's like people don't know how good they had it with that guy. But I started thinking, I even said, man, I just rewatched Temple of Doom last night. I don't know how I'm going to do the Zorro movie. Like, I've just never done anything like that. You start getting, afraid because you go, the second thing, he said, oh, Rob, just you're going to do fine. But then I started thinking, God, this guy at that time, know the era, but this was like mid-90s. He was making the biggest, best movies of all. And people would shit all over this guy. They would throw so much. They were so jealous. Press, audience, everyone was just like hits at him, just throwing rocks at him for everything.
Spielberg?
Yeah, you can't imagine it now. You had to been at that time. Now everyone has respect for him, but they made him run a fucking gauntlet. And they were like, Jurassic Park, yeah. You can't even imagine it now, but you should have seen the climate. It freaked me out because I'm like, maybe I should just stay under the radar where I've been, not
Yeah.
poke my head out so much.
Yeah.
Because this guy has his head out and they're
Yeah.
unwarranted.
Yeah.
You can't even fathom it now because you weren't here at that
Right.
time. It was crazy. You would never even think of him that way. I'm glad it changed because back then it made people not want to be successful. And I made me be worried, like maybe I shouldn't be making a movie that has his name on it that's going to put my head out in a whole different realm of filmmaking at a studio level. Because even if I make a good movie, if I make a great movie, he's making great movies and he's getting this dog shit. I don't know if I could take it. So I asked him, because you don't know how resilient you can be. So I said, man, how do you do it? What do you do when people just throw rocks at you all day long? He goes, oh, Robert, you just don't blink. And I was like, whoa. Now I see how he got through it. Just don't blink. Just like, pa, pa, pa. You know what's coming? Don't blink. And to him say it's like a Clint Eastwood line, right? But
Yeah.
it was like, you could see he was telling the truth and you could see that's how he did it. He just avoided all criticism by just not blinking. It's like, it's designed to make you blink and you're just not going to blink because you're committing to a body of work. He just keeps cranking out movies. Whatever he feels like doing, he does. And that was like the most and it never bothered me again. I just like always kept that in mind. I tell that to my actors. I tell that people that story has traveled. I even had some little actors who were like starting to get up there. And I said, remember, tell you a couple of things. Some people have told me, you're never as good as people say you are. And you're never as bad either. George Clooney told me that. He said, remember that. And then the second one, Spielberg, don't blink. Don't blink.